So I've been wearing the Nova Smart Ring for about a week, and after seeing all of the good and the bad, I'm here to give you my full review. If you're new here, my name is Luis and I test and review all kinds of tech. And Nova Ring were kind enough to send out their Nova R Smart Ring to me to make a review on it. Now, even though it was a gift and I'm extremely grateful to them, I do have to say that nothing in this video that is being said is gonna be sponsored or paid for in any way. So let's get straight into it and talk about the unboxing and setup experience. Now, before you actually go ahead and buy the ring, Nova are kind enough to send out a free testing kit. Now, this actually did leave my expectations pretty low since I was getting something for free. I didn't really think the quality of it was gonna be the highest, but when I actually got the testing kit, I was very, very surprised. I was surprised at the entire design of the testing kit, and after trying out different sizes and figuring out that mine was size 8 and using it for around 2 or 3 days, I emailed them and I told them the size that I wanted and they sent it out straight away. That being said, the testing kit did take 2 weeks to arrive to me and the actual ring another 2 more. So that is something to keep in mind, that at least for me in my experience, it took me around 1 month to actually get the ring into my hands. Once you actually get the ring, you'll see that the box itself is also of the highest quality. It's this very premium luxury feeling type of black cardboard with some blue accents all around the box. When you actually open the box, the first thing you're gonna see is a little message from Nova themselves, and after you take that away and some more paperwork, you actually get the ring. Under the ring, you do obviously get the charging stand with its cable, which is USB 3.0 to USB-C. So although it is USB-C, nobody nowadays uses USB 3.0, so that is something to keep in mind. I just ended up using my iPhone charger to charge it, so it's not really that big of a deal, but I am letting you guys know everything so that you know for when you do buy it. This is my first experience I've ever had with using a smart ring, and to be honest, Nova left the expectations really, really high. The charging stand itself was very, very high quality. Everything about it, from the metal to the way it looks to the way the ring actually charges, just everything about the charging stand, in my opinion, was amazing. And now, taking a look at the actual ring, let's take a look at the setup process and how easy or difficult it was. Now, I have seen some reviews saying that the setup process was hard and that people just never managed to actually get the ring set up. That wasn't my experience at all though, and in about 5 minutes, I was able to get the entire thing set up and ready to be used. The app's UI is very simple and it does well in everything it intends to do. I didn't find any bugs, issues in tracking, or anything like that. Everything the app said it was gonna do, it did. Now let's take a look at the design and the comfort. So here's where a slight issue might actually come in, and it's the fact that on Instagram and everywhere where advertised, I thought that the Nova Ring was more so a metallic type of feel. When I actually got the ring, I saw that that wasn't the case. The material itself is almost like a plastic. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it definitely isn't a metallic glossy type of thing. Another thing I saw on the Instagram page was that the ring seems like it's gonna be flat around the edges and on the main feel of the ring. And again, this wasn't exactly what I received. What I received was more so a circular, rounded type of ring with a lot sharper edges. This isn't anything that actually hurt the experience of buying the ring, but it's just so that when you guys go ahead and buy it yourself, you know what you're getting into and you know how it actually looks. Comfort wise, I ended up using the ring for about a week and it's definitely bigger than a regular ring, but I think that's also expected. If you're buying this ring thinking that it's going to be as seamless on your hand as a wedding band or another type of ring that you use because of fashion or anything else, you're going to be mistaken. Sadly, because of all of the internals and everything that goes on inside the ring, it actually can't be too skinny or too thin because none of that would fit. So the ring itself is much bulkier than other rings, but that didn't mean that it was uncomfortable in any way. I used it while working out, while throwing ball with some friends, while sleeping, showering, you name it, and it handled everything perfectly fine and didn't really feel uncomfortable in any situation. So now let's take a look at the features and the actual accuracy of the ring. So the ring actually has a lot of features, more so than I expected. It actually brings a heart rate sensor, a stress sensor. It gives you exercise tracking for a lot of exercises and different sports. It also tracks your steps, it tracks your calories, it tracks your sleep, blood oxygen sensor, and many more things. I was actually surprised at how many features the Ring actually had. In my week-long testing, what I did find was that everything was very, very accurate. Now, there were some things like my stress level that I don't really know how else to verify, but when I was in moments of higher stress, I did check it on the Ring and it did see it. And in other moments where I was the complete opposite and I was in a very calm state, I would check it on the Ring, and evidently it said that I was in a very normal, relaxed state. So at least from the stress point of view, I felt that all the results they gave me were accurate. Everything else in terms of heart rate, sleep tracking, and all the other features, I also felt were pretty accurate. When the Ring told me that I had had a bad night and didn't sleep well, that was the truth. So now let's take a look at the battery and the charging. So Nova actually says on their website that with 1 hour of charge, it can get you 5 days of battery. And in my experience, that was similar, but it wasn't exactly that. I did charge it for around an hour, and I got roughly 4 days of battery, which in my opinion is still really good because I was scared that I was gonna have to charge it every single day like an Apple Watch. And that's something that would have deterred me from it. Maybe if you do take it off at some times during the day, you might see a little more battery life, but that wasn't my experience. Now let's take a look at some improvements that I feel could be made to the Ring for the future. Again, as I did mention previously, the Ring is a little bit bulkier than usual rings that you'll see in your day-to-day life. That does mean that at times you'll feel it a little more on your hand and on your finger, and that it isn't comparable in terms of how transparent and how much you don't feel it to a regular ring. But obviously it's a simple trade-off because while a regular ring gives you nothing, and this one gives you a lot of critical and important health data. So in the future, and I'm sure that this will come naturally as technology improves, but the Ring being a little thinner and a little less noticeable in everyday life is going to be a big plus for it. Although I was surprised at the features the Ring actually brought, there was one that I really wish it would have had, and that was some sort of music control linked into it. Now, this could just be me speaking and not knowing anything about anything, but I thought that maybe adding a sort of sensor or something inside it where you could tap it on your Ring could be really, really useful for many different apps. Primarily, and the one that I thought of would be music control. Similar to how AirPods do it, it was just a feature that I really wished the Ring would have. Now, this maybe has nothing to do with the actual Ring or the health tracking or the goal of what the Ring aims to do, but it was just something that I thought would be really cool to have. Another improvement would be that when you do enter the app, the health features don't automatically update. Now, this could be because of battery life, and if so, it's understandable, but I felt that it would be much better to enter the app and have all of the features already updated instead of having to enter the app, go into the section you want to track, press the tracking button, wait 30 seconds to a minute, and then get your data. I think that the Ring should automatically be tracking all of that data in the background, and for you to be able to go in and let's say check your heart rate levels yesterday, today, whenever else, or at whatever time during the day without having to manually measure it. And another improvement slash con that I saw was that Bluetooth always has to be on. Now, this is something that at least for me was very annoying and one thing that I really didn't like at all. I didn't like having my Bluetooth on 24/7, and I also didn't like it showing the Nova R connection every single time I entered my control center. And let's say a friend of yours, a roommate or something similar ends up turning on a speaker that you both use. Your phone would automatically connect to that speaker. Your friend actually wanted to use it, and now you'd have to disconnect your entire Bluetooth, lose the connection to the Ring, to then turn it back on and start using it again. It was because of small scenarios like this that I realized that having the Bluetooth on 24/7 just wasn't ideal. I felt that my Bluetooth would automatically connect to a bunch of different devices that I share with friends or my girlfriend, and that I'd be having to disconnect and connect the Ring many times during the day because of this. Now, I'm not exactly sure what the improvement here would be, since at the end of the day, the Ring does need a connection one way or another to your phone to be able to give you all of the data. But I know that the Apple Watch, for example, is always connected through Bluetooth, but it doesn't appear as it is. And you can also have your Bluetooth off and it's still going to be connected to your phone. So now let's take a look at the final verdict. And here there's 3 questions that I really want to answer. 1 would be if I want to continue using it during my daily life. 2 would be who it's actually for. And 3 would be a smartwatch or Apple Watch or a smart ring. So to answer question number 1, would I keep using it? Well, this obviously is a very personal question, but at least for me, because of the type of person I am, I don't think I will be. This is only due to the fact that I'm not a person that tracks all of my health steps and things like that. If I was a person that did that, then I 100% would. So now taking a look at question 2, who it's actually for. Well, I think it's for people, no surprise, that actually like to track all of these things themselves. And more specifically, people that actually like to do so, but aren't big fans of having a band, a watch, or something similar on your wrist. The ring is a lot more inconspicuous than that, and you really don't feel it as much as you do a watch on either of your wrists. So if you do value that health tracking and you don't like wearing smartwatches, this ring is for you. And now let's take a look at whether the Apple Watch or the ring is better. Now, as an overall device, I'm obviously leaning more towards the Apple Watch. And I just feel that the Apple Watch for a little bit more just brings a lot more features. That being said, if you're a person like me that likes actual traditional watches and you're always going to have a real watch on your wrist, yet you still want to track all of your fitness and similar things to that, then the smart ring and especially the Nova ring is a great choice. If you are looking for as many features as possible, or you are a person that already owns an Apple Watch, then I just don't think the smart ring would be that necessary. So that's my review of the Nova R smart ring. Again, I want to thank you, Nova, for sending it out. I had a very good time and enjoyed every day that I was wearing it, so I thank them a lot for sending it out. Again, nothing I said here was paid for, sponsored in any way, or anything similar. Everything was my own opinion. Please tell me what you thought about the video. What do you think about the ring if you own one? And if there's anything you felt I didn't answer during the video, leave that all in the comments down below, and I'll try to answer as soon as possible. I do want to shout out myself here and say that I did start with channel memberships. So if you do want to become an actual exclusive member of the channel and get many perks that nobody else is going to get, including a private community / Discord that I currently have running, then click the join button next to the subscribe button after you've subscribed, and then check out all of the perks and become an exclusive member of the channel. With that being said, I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.